Mad Season Show has actually uploaded a video about Turtle WoW. Now, I know we've spoken about Turtle WoW so many times, but I truly owe this private server everything on my channel because I've been stagnant for 2.5 years until I started chasing my passion and actually came back to World of Warcraft. And I did that by playing Turtle WoW. They just released their new Embershire server. Everything was fresh. It was a huge patch, adding so much new content with dungeon expansions, new dungeons, new raids, raid expansions, new roles, classes being reworked from the ground up. It was crazy. I had to try it out, and I had the best time of my life. I think what saddens me the most about Turtle WoW being gone soon is that I'm not going to hear the Everlook radio ever again. They had GTA style radio inside of their game with custom like announcers and all kind of funny messages like fake ads. It was hilarious, man. I love that to the bottom of my soul. I pray to God that Blizzard would actually steal that idea. I mean, it sounds so weird, right? Steal from the people who technically stole your asset. I mean, guys, again, I have to mention this in every single video. I'm not advocating for piracy, okay? I understand why Blizzard did what it did. I'm just frustrated that they had to wait until passionate fans actually did something with their own IP rather than do it by themselves. Because they had over a decade to give us something similar to Turtle WoW, and they hadn't do that. And they haven't, sorry. It's so stupid. It makes me furious. But regardless, we're gonna watch a Mad Season Show video. I love this guy content so much, so I'm glad he actually spoke about this.
A turtle made it to the water.
Hey guys, what's up? Mad Season here, back with another video for you. Several months ago I made a video about the private server Turtle WoW being sued by Blizzard in an effort to get it shut down. And I said I'd provide updates if anything major transpired. So that's what we're doing here today. A lot of things have been going on in the background, such as ex-party applications, some probing into the accounts and details of some of the employees of Turtle WoW. It's been pretty intense, and about a week ago the lawsuit
The doxing was huge.
And just a couple days ago, there was a statement by Turtle WoW detailing the results of the lawsuit and how it'll be shutting down in the near future. So let's talk about it in detail. First, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, boot.dev. If you ever wanted to learn back-end development,
that's crazy.
You fell off because it started feeling too much like homework.
You know, I never skip a
it teaches back-end
Mad
development
Season Show ad.
It feels a lot more interactive and game.
I really like this guy.
At walls of
Pop off
text.
king.
And at the
I
same
respect
time,
the hustle.
It's still focused on teaching you the kind of skills that you would actually use
with Guild Wars
on the
2, you
job,
can use
with
third-party
courses and
apps
things
like
such as Python,
Blishot
SQL,
overlay and the
Go.
overextension
You're actually doing
mount.
hands-on coding.
Yeah,
and
but they
building
should be built
projects as
into
you
the
go.
game.
And even if you ever
You
get
shouldn't
stuck,
rely
you
on
can
add-ons to
harness
do
the aid
that.
of their AI tutor.
It should
named
be built
Boots,
inside of the
which
game.
is trained on the lessons and understands what you're actually working on. Or if you
Except the
prefer more
assigning
human
song
element,
parts, I guess
they also
that
have
this
an
is,
active
like,
Discord
shouldn't be allowed,
community
but
to reach out to. And
many
if you really
features
want to
should
get
be inside of
MMO
it.
like, they've also added something called the Training Grounds, which is basically a place to grind extra coding challenges if you want more practice before moving on. If you're obsessed with RPGs,
that's
like
one
I
hell
am,
of an
it's a
ad.
good fit since the whole thing is kind of built around these
I mean, he's
various
getting paid. It's
progression
fine. It's
systems
fine.
like
He deserves it.
XP levels,
I love this guy
achievements,
content so much. I
quests,
don't care. I
bosses,
literally don't.
So it'll feel really familiar. You can read and
Usually
watch
I just
all
skip
of the course
those.
content for free, and if you want the interactive
But it's fine.
features,
He's
such as
grinding.
AI help and the progression systems and so on, that's included with the paid version. So if you've been wanting to learn how to code, go to boot.dev
Truly incredible.
and use my code MADSeasonShow.
I'm gonna
to
leave a
get
link in the
25%
description,
off
guys.
your
Go
first
show him
year
support.
on the annual plan. So I do want to cover the context and history of all of this, so please forgive the preamble here, but I think it's important because this is a pretty big historical moment, not only for World of Warcraft private servers, but for private servers of any sort of online multiplayer game, because we now have this precedent. From now on, whenever there are discussions on the legality and fate of private servers, people are definitely going to be referencing Turtle WoW. So, if you didn't know, there's been a pretty sizable community of people who don't really care for what Blizzard has been doing to their game for various reasons, and it's substantial enough that they prefer to instead play on independently run private servers, the biggest that most people know being Nostalrius, which was the most popular until Blizzard shut it down in 2016 and released their version of Classic years later in 2019. So eventually these official vanilla servers moved on to other expansions, or they stagnated in its final 1.12 patch in the case of Classic Era, which left many people wanting more, generally in the form of Classic Plus, which no one can agree on, but is vaguely supposed to be the base game vanilla, with new features and content added to it in the spirit of vanilla in the old world, the Eastern Kingdoms, and Kalimdor. Blizzard has...
Yeah, exactly. I think that if most people even don't agree really about what Classic Plus should be, we all have the same base principle. We want it to be a spiritual successor to Classic World of Warcraft. So what does it mean? It means slower gameplay. It means more player friction. It means new stuff being added to the game, obviously. Now, you can discuss what the new stuff are going to be like, right? You can have even TBC built right into it. You can have Northrend built into it. You can have all of these zones that we didn't have previously that reached in Cataclysm, like Hyjal. I think for the most part, 70 to 80% of people agree that that should be the case. The rest, you can discuss with the community. But the base principle is that it needs to be a spiritual successor to the vision of classic vanilla World of Warcraft. It needs to be what old Blizzard wanted to deliver but couldn't because they didn't have the time. But nowadays, I highly doubt Blizzard would actually give us a quality product. I think they're just going to take Turtle WoW assets, bring them in, and that would be the initial pull to Classic Plus, and they're just going to abandon it. I think that's what they're going to do. I really hope it wouldn't be the case and they actually update it and make some new raids, make new stuff, and maybe remake everything in the new engine. I really hope that would be the case, but I highly doubt it.
Kind of flirted with the idea with their seasonal modes, the closest to this date being the Season of Discovery, which has now also stagnated as it's...
Of course, because Season of Discovery is rehashed garbage. Changing the layout of a few mobs inside of a dungeon isn't even remotely close to what Classic Plus should be. I really hate people calling Season of Discovery Classic Plus. If you're actually calling it a Classic Plus experience, I'm sorry. You need to be institutionalized. You're clearly Delulu, and you need help. And not from a person, but from God. Let's see. Player friction is huge on my list. Absolutely. Player friction is so important. The reason WoW is hemorrhaging player is because you literally lost that inside of retail. I hear the rarest private server MMO is Dragon Ball Z MMO. You can create character and you can fly. Oh, damn. Okay, that sounds actually kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
It's no longer being updated. Kind of a crazy concept that a genre of
I actually played something like this, I think,
a
before.
constant stream of new content stagnates when new content is no longer being added. They teach you that in the ultra intelligent school of video game design, but it's a very hard concept to understand apparently for certain developers. But I digress. And so it was around here is where the private server community started to gain steam once more, as there was once again this discrepancy in what people wanted and what Blizzard was providing. So there's been a few different launches throughout the years, but there are none more major and successful than Turtle WoW, which is essentially Classic Plus. It has new zones, areas, dungeons, quests, professions, raids, abilities. It's pretty much the closest thing to Classic Plus.
It was so good.
That
it was so
a very
good.
unagreeable fan base can, for the most part, agree on. And it slowly gained steam over the years. They slowly but surely added more and more content.
I think that was Turtle WoW true mistake. I think that boasting about insane player counts was truly what buried our private server. I believe that was it. They flew way too close to the sun. But, on the other hand, I think they were doing this to egg Blizzard into actually make an official Classic Plus server. I do believe they went, how do you call this? Wait, oh my god, how do you call this anime that everyone watched but I didn't? But I already know the end, so I haven't watched it. Code Geass. Yes, I think what they've done is Code Geass. I think they intentionally turned themselves into the villain and just egged Blizzard, even though they're obviously not the villain. They made it happen. They wanted their death to happen because they wanted Blizzard to actually take the mantle upon themselves. They wanted Blizzard to pick up the glove, and it may sound insane, but I honestly believe that the reason why they boasted on such huge player counts is so Blizzard can see it and take them down and do it themselves. Because Blizzard only follow the money. They never follow passion anymore. So if players beg them to do Classic Plus, they would never listen. But if Blizzard saw how many people actually wanted Classic Plus experience, then they would have done it. And that's why I think Turtle WoW sacrificed themselves. They did it for the betterment of all people around the globe. And I would always respect them for that.
Over the years, they slowly but surely added more and more content until they had a pretty sizable, unique version of the game, which allowed them to break records in active player counts. They started to show their hubris a little bit by poking the bear.
Exactly. I remember that. Look at that. Blizzard, the Americas. Sorry for the confusion. Ally, basically, you shouldn't need to worry about false report, as any action that is taken only done after investigation. If no violation is found, nothing happens and the report is dismissed. By the way, this is completely untrue, and we've seen it with Classic Encourage. Whenever people mass reported the guy who was going for Scarab, and he got instantly banned. No, Blizzard did fix it after, like, I think, week or two. But yeah, it's definitely not true. They tried to get away with it. And Turtle responded, the heat got to the poor fella, install air conditioning. Bro, what a trolls. That's crazy. Oh, Rose, you're here. I knew you were lurking. Man, I always know when someone lurks. That's crazy. Let's see. I don't think it was them boasting. I think it was them directly mocking Blizzard. Can you imagine how thin-skinned the babies work on WoW are? Absolutely. I think it was both. I think they were having fun at it. Like, they were definitely having fun poking, like, poking, doing a little bit of trolling at Blizzard expense. But I think that the end goal was to show Blizzard, like, hey, you should have done this yourself. I think that was the main goal of Turtle WoW. I might be mistaken on that, but I truly think that that was the case. I don't play WoW, but knowing it's shutting down before Stop Killing Games guy is going to the EU to speak the EU Parliament about games and copyright and ownership, it's not really related. Because let me tell you, Turtle WoW at the end of the day is piracy. You cannot lie to yourself, okay? As much as you love Turtle WoW, and believe me, I do with all of my heart, what Turtle WoW done is wrong. It is wrong. It is illegal, right? It is what it is. You can't really blame them. You can't really blame Blizzard for taking it down. It's their IP, and I know they're evil corporate overlords, and they don't deserve it. I know, but it's their IP nonetheless. You can't afford to do that. You can't. And you can't have people taking your assets and using them as their own. You just can't have that, okay? And it is what it sucks balls, I know, but you can't have that. Otherwise, we're gonna have some serious chaos. Also, WoW Ascension is going to be next on the chopping block one of these days soon. I know. I already said that. And I played Ascension. I didn't like it. But I think that now Turtle WoW is officially dying. More people are going to try out Ascension. And Blizzard is going to call that game. Classic Plus would never come out. Blizzard will directly compete against their retail product. Shut down hardcore server, classic era servers. Because those will just become void. No, they won't. I understand your point. I think you're wrong. Why? Because clearly there's a huge schism between WoW players. There are a ton of players like me who don't play retail, but will play Classic until the end of their days. And there's so many people who likes retail, but on occasional downtime when retail is down, because you have such a massive gap between raids and content, and everything is like hugely time gated, they are playing Classic. So they want to keep the subscription going. You essentially have two major points of incentivization. I don't know if that's a real word. Of incentive, sorry, for Blizzard to actually make Classic Plus. One, to grab players like me who are not paying for subscription. Two, to keep subscription going of retail players who are currently disgruntled with the current state of retail. So these 2 points are really important for Blizzard to make more money. And we know how much Blizzard loves their money, don't we?
And shitting on them in social media, which has kind of come back to haunt them. Although this would have happened anyway simply due to its size. There have been quite a few private servers for the most part, actually, but Blizzard tends to leave them alone until they become big enough to pose a threat to their player base and intellectual property. So it was inevitable that they would eventually be sent to cease and desist, which they reportedly ignored until Blizzard officially launched a lawsuit against them many months ago. So, since we will be getting into the legalities here, I do want to say that I am not a lawyer. This is just my interpretation of everything. I do try my best to fact check, and I'm careful not to spread misinformation, but I am most definitely capable of mistakes, just as a disclaimer. But it's been pretty intense, with Blizzard even invoking the RICO Act, which was used to take down the Mafia. They alleged that Turtle WoW was an international crime ring, with employees across the globe, both within...
What's the crime? You hurt my gains. And yeah, when you do it to a big corporate, they can actually pull the plug like that. It's insane. Because Turtle WoW is essentially out of Blizzard jurisdiction. And not Blizzard jurisdiction, just like any jurisdiction whatsoever, because I think they're based in Russia, if I'm not mistaken. So what Blizzard did is essentially create a ring of fire, on them, right? Around them, sorry. Because they told every single company who works with Turtle WoW needs to stop. So now Turtle WoW cannot get, money, cannot get any communication done. So they essentially just choke them out, which... Again, it's a tactic. It is what it is. It's so stupid because the only thing Turtle WoW did was create a good version of the game. But, at the end of the day, money talks, right? It is what it is. I would agree Blizzard does not do anything for passion, just money. But they started updating Heroes of the Storm again, changing talents, etc. Even though there's no money to make in that game anymore. Because the people who worked on Heroes of the Storm are actually passionate about MOBAs. And I know because I know who they are. Not personally, obviously, but if you don't know anything about me, I'm a huge MOBA gamer. I played League of Legends and Dota 2 my entire life. So when Heroes of the Storm came out, I played the hell out of that game. And I know exactly why it faltered, because it sucked balls and it was too gimmicky. But at the same time, I also know how passionate the Blizzard team who worked on this game was. I know that. If I was Blizzard, I would have made a deal with Turtle WoW, charge Turtle WoW double or triple the amount of fees to license it. That way, they could still make money if they control Turtle WoW legally. I think... Listen, I don't know anything, okay? Honestly, I don't. But look at the facts. Turtle WoW said that they were here to stay. They would do anything to oppose Blizzard and make sure that Turtle WoW is the best version of Classic Plus we'll ever get. Now, a couple of months later, they struck some sort of a deal with Blizzard. We still don't know what happened in court. We still don't know which settlement they agreed to, but we know that they agreed to something with Blizzard, okay? Now, in my opinion, I think Blizzard may have paid him, or may have just dropped the case in terms of, we're gonna sue you, we're gonna do something, or maybe they couldn't just. So maybe Blizzard just paid him, and I think Blizzard absorbed their assets back. I think Blizzard is going to make Classic Plus, either with Turtle WoW developers on it, or they're just gonna take Turtle WoW as a whole and relaunch it as their own. I'm not really sure. Something is about to happen because I'm pretty sure a deal was struck. There was a bargain, and they have reached some sort of a conclusion. We just need to wait and see what.
And outside of the United States, and from there they had begun the process to go after the easiest people to reach, which were primarily citizens based in the United States because they were under their jurisdiction. This would include community managers and even somebody who just made add-ons for the private server. They sent out...
why would they pay them? Because they need their assets. Blizzard, you need to understand, Blizzard is so lazy. To go around Turtle WoW and start literally manually copying the assets is going to take them forever. So they want to pay Turtle WoW for their code back, and Blizzard is just going to absorb that.
Party applications to these people, and also the companies who facilitated the operations of Turtle WoW in whatever way. This would be programs like Discord, because they wanted to see the private DMs between the employees, right? Or the company that hosted the server, or the YouTube channel associated with them, or payment processors to see how much they made off of the game, which did have an in-game cash shop. They did also engage in some psychological warfare, which was interesting, because they alleged that one of the people running the server was named Torda, who was secretly this other person from the past in private servers who has this controversial past because they took money to give players items or something, and all sorts of other stuff that I...
The classic Blizzard slandering.
Someone who has a controversial history within the private server community, and some speculate that they did this to make people lose confidence in the server, to try to destroy it from within in this sort of Game of Thrones-esque plotline. But they wanted to dig into all the information that they could possibly find in order to build their case, at which point TurtleWow, kind of in a desperation move, responded with an open letter, basically asking Blizzard to calm down and work with them. They were willing to hand over the project and work together, and they also cited other private server communities from other games, such as EverQuest, City of Heroes, and so on.
And that's exactly why I think that a bargain was struck, like a deal was struck. That's why I think that TurtleWow has been absorbed into Blizzard, because of that letter. Clearly, it was goading Blizzard into actually playing along with TurtleWow. It's so, yeah, it's so on the nose, too. You can clearly tell that that's what they wanted. And I respect that. I truly do. We owe TurtleWow some serious, stuff. They are true martyrs. Wait, what? I'm wondering if actual Blizzard coders can code something else than cosmetic and cash up items. No. That's the reason why the game breaks while the cash up fires up like that. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? That's how you play the game. You play through the cash up. Those assets are on terrible, complete different client. Those are useless for Blizzard. That's only true if you're assuming that Blizzard is going to use the new engine. If Blizzard is going to use the new engine, then yeah, you're right. But if they're going to use the old one, then no, they can easily take those.
To show that.
And also they can just take them for reviewing.
These private server communities can have a symbiotic relationship with the original developer. As expected, Blizzard's heart did not grow 3 times its size that day, and they just kind of ignored it and continued to pop their cooldowns and go all in, going after any employees that they could, until eventually there was a judgment on just April 13th in Blizzard's favor. It mandated that TurtleWow had to cease all operations.
Yeah,
under
of
the
course.
agreement that if
TurtleWow
they
had
breach
no
it,
chance.
Blizzard could sue
Obviously.
them for damages. And TurtleWow was kind of silent for a few days as people sort of waited with anticipation of what was going to happen, if they were going to comply or not. And on April 18th, they would announce to their community their shutdown. The official post was made in Discord, and it reads as follows. They say it's the journey, not the destination. How long must a journey last to be remembered fondly and warmly? We don't know. We only know that it is coming to an end. After almost 8 years online, TurtleWow is heading towards shutdown. The final day of operation will be May 14th, 2026, and the servers will go offline at 12 a.m. on May 15th. And from here, they go on to kind of thank the community and reflect on their time developing the private server. So another chapter closes on the vanilla World of Warcraft private server saga. Reactions have been mixed.
Damn, it is so
TurtleWow
sad.
Fans being quite upset, as you would
It's
expect.
actually is sad.
Meanwhile, Blizzard fans are celebrating / gloating, and these two sides are kind of going at it as we speak. Players of TurtleWow are quite
what?
gloating, fans being quite upset, as you would expect. Meanwhile, Blizzard
I hate Blizzard so much you guys cannot imagine. Oh, I think I can.
fans are celebrating / gloating, and these two sides are kind of going at it as we
Yeah.
speak.
I
Players
bet
of
they're having
TurtleWow
some
are quite
serious milk
disappointed,
drinking parties right
naturally,
now at the
although I can't say
headquarters.
personally because I didn't play it, but apparently it was quite good. So there's some disappointment not being able to play it anymore. But not only that, there's definitely this frustration as it sort of highlights this disconnection between Blizzard and a substantial portion of their fan base, which has been an ongoing struggle for quite a while. Even getting Classic 2019 was a very difficult process, with, as you probably know, the developers kind of condescendingly dismissing people, and really it was only after these private servers blew up were they able to finally realize just how much demand there was for the game and how legitimate that demand was.
They could have just listened to the people and it would have gotten that to that conclusion by themselves. But no, that's the problem with current day Blizzard way of thinking. They need guarantees. They need assurances. They need to see something works and then they operate on that. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. What happened to the Blizzard who used to take risks? What happened to the Blizzard who actually elevated genres all by themselves? StarCraft, Warcraft, World of Warcraft. All of these genres existed before Blizzard, but Blizzard looked at other games and they went like, you know what? I can do better. They looked at EverQuest and they literally took people, passionate about EverQuest, people who sank hours of their life into that game and made them work at Blizzard, okay? It's so idiotic that current day Blizzard view is so myopic. They cannot see anything except their next quarterly update. And I'm tired of saying that. It's just so annoying. It's infuriating talking about this even. Like, Jesus, man, what happened to that Blizzard? Were they all swapped out for wine moms and Labubu millennials? Do the Council of Karens filtered everyone in the company? There's no one competent left. There's no one passionate inside of Blizzard HQ anymore. It's so sad to see. And we've just seen Jeff Kaplan speaks about this. It's insane, man. Like, oh my god. I mean, I just wonder if Blizzard thinks this means they'll be able to make more money with Turtle WoW being gone. They will. It's a fact. Of course. Because Turtle WoW was kind of siphoning... it wasn't siphoning money directly. It was siphoning players. So, yeah. 100%. 100%. These type of people would play Classic. I know because I'm one of them. If Blizzard makes an official Classic Plus, just like Turtle WoW, I'm gonna be back on it. You bet. While you're wondering if Blizzard can code anything other than cosmetic and cash shops, I wonder if they can build anything other than instant-based content and not dead open world. Oh, brother. I wonder that myself. And I pray to God they would actually put some competent people on it. My true hope is that they actually took Turtle WoW developers alongside with it, like the server and codes and stuff. I really hope they took Turtle WoW people on it. Because Turtle WoW people know how it needs to be done. Blizzard don't. Lazy game design, exactly. Do you think we will get Era TBC or Wrath? What do you mean by that? In Classic Plus? In Classic Plus, I think you're just gonna get Turtle WoW. But will it expand to later expansions? Yeah, for sure. You know why? Because it's more money.
And they were like, oh shit. Well, maybe they're onto something here. They, for a while now, have had this Rockstar developer mentality, in my opinion, where it's sort of like, you know, we're the developers, you're the player, we make the game, you shut up and play the game. And because of this, in my opinion, they're very disconnected and they lack the ability to know their audience and to know what they want. And in fact, there's been countless instances showing just that.
Ooh, do you guys have phones?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
It's just sort of this fundamental disconnection.
Not again. And you know what's the funniest part about this? That Diablo Immortal made like $500 million in a year, if I'm not mistaken. I remember reading the statistics and like the earnings of that game, and I was shocked, and then I lost all faith in humanity.
Really hinders their ability to deliver an enjoyable product for a lot of people. So you can understand when you have these quite successful private server communities that people flock to being shut down, there's this frustration that people have with Blizzard. But that being said, of course, they are 100% within their rights to shut it down, and this was clear to most people right from the beginning. People were like willing to put their life on the line, that because they were outside of the United States, that has somehow made them out of Blizzard's reach. There's one constant in life. When you fuck with the money of people who have enough money to do something about it, anything can and will be done about it.
Absolute facts.
Kotick, even though he's out of the picture now.
You can be in another galaxy and Blizzard would literally send a Marine to go up in your ass. That would literally happen. It is what it is. You always follow the money. Money is king, and that's how big corporations operate. You cannot do anything. Blizzard would literally go through the goddamn warp to find you. They would reawaken the Emperor of mankind just to get you and make absolutely sure that you don't take their IP. It's insane. Wait, I think I missed a few comments. Let's see. I have a lot of ideas if I was Blizzard. Well, you should work at Blizzard because clearly they need you. I did not have a phone at the point of time. Turning WoW into a phone game. You know that's about to happen, right? That's why I have the one button rotation. Did you ever try Elder Scrolls Online? No, I hate Bethesda and I hate Skyrim. I never liked these games. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I know it's very popular. Not ESO, but like Skyrim. I never loved it.
Now, would man his personal rocket sip
They
on
say
some breast
Tychus
milk along
after,
the
yeah.
way, threaten to
It's
kill a few
about
people,
damn time.
and
Hey!
be back in
It's
time for
Richie.
dinner, all without blinking too, by the way. So
Man, imagine spending your entire life to being accepted into Blizzard just to be called a milk drinker. That's crazy. All you've done have come to this. This is your legacy. Being called a cube crawler and a milk drinker.
they weren't as immune as people thought they were. And this kind of reinforces my thoughts on private servers. I will reiterate, in the first video I made before this lawsuit was announced, I believe that they're in this sort of catch-22 situation where there are two outcomes. They can either be good or bad. If they're bad, nobody plays them, so who gives a shit? But if they're good, that's great, but it also means that a lot of people will play them, and because of that, they will eventually get shut down because they start pinging Blizzard's radar, so it's just kind of a contradictory situation. Some people are more kind of in the moment and just enjoy the ride while it lasts, and that's great, but these days I want to have some sort of retention with my time investment, which is one of the more appealing things with old school RuneScape here, as I continue to water my vegetables. But anyways, that's about it for now.
Yeah.
My condolences to all of the Turtle WoW fans out there. I definitely do get the frustration. It always sucks to lose something like that because, you know, it's not just a game, right? It's this community, and there's always this sort of somber feeling whenever you see these online communities get shut down, whether that be official or private. It's still a group of people who kind of came together over the shared interest, made friends, things of that nature, so I'm not
It's
really
crazy
on either
to
side.
lose all of
I'm not
that.
a private server guy, and I'm
It's a damn shame.
not a
It's
Blizzard
always a
guy
damn
either.
shame.
I think I love World of Warcraft vanilla, but I think Blizzard is kind of dog shit these days. Is kind of my stance. But I do
Yeah.
think the
Your
situation
stance is
overall
correct.
rather disappointing and sad. And hopefully people can find something to replace this community that is going to be lost. I'm sure there'll be another that'll pop up in the future. It's like the Lich King, there must always be another. Again, personally, I won't be checking it out because, again, this whole debacle just kind of reinforced my feelings on it. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. I imagine that this is the final update on this situation unless something crazy happens. If it does, I guess I'll see you then. But if not, have yourself a good day.
Damn.
Take it easy. And I told you so, by the way.
Hey, come on, man. You didn't need to say that towards the end. Shame on you. But yeah, just another banger from Matt Season Show. I love his content so much. I'm going to leave a link in the description, guys. Make sure to watch his stuff. This is such a fantastic content creator. I always loved watching his stuff for years now. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and it's such an infuriating thing to see, right? Nobody wants to see Turtle WoW gone, but we are understanding of that. Because we all knew at the bottom of our hearts that it would happen. It was just a matter of time. It is what it is. Now, do I think Turtle WoW expedited the entire process, like boasting huge numbers? Absolutely. But the end would have been the same regardless. So, at least I'm glad that Blizzard is picking up the Classic Plus glove, and they're actually starting to work on it. I just pray to God it would be as good as Turtle WoW, but in my opinion, it needs to be better. Why? Because Turtle WoW was a private server and it was free. Blizzard, if you are going to charge me a subscription fee, you need to make a far superior product. Now, will they be able to do that? Only time will tell.